Something dangerous is happening inside your kitchen, and almost nobody notices it. While most families throw away over $1,500 in expired food every year, a handful of forgotten pantry items are quietly becoming more valuable. And by April 2025, some of these foods could be the difference between security and shortage. Today, I'm exposing 30 foods that never expire, and trust me, number Y and number 14 will shock you, because even survival experts get those wrong. Stay with me, your pantry will never look the same again. Number 1, white rice. White rice is one of those everyday foods we rarely pause to appreciate, yet it carries a quiet, enduring strength. For more than 5,000 years, it has fed civilizations, anchored economies, and provided stability during times of scarcity. Archaeologists have even uncovered white rice in ancient Chinese tombs that remained intact after centuries. That kind of longevity isn't Lekit's structure. White rice lacks the oils found in brown rice, which means it simply doesn't turn rancid. But longevity doesn't exempt it from needing care. When left in store-bought packaging, rice becomes vulnerable to moisture and pests. When sealed properly, it transforms into a dependable reserve capable of sustaining a household through crises large and small. A single bag can offer hundreds of servings of steady energy, and its simplicity is precisely what makes it so reliable. Rice carries a quiet message. Not everything strong needs to be complex. Sometimes the most comforting forms of preparedness come from the foods that ask for little and offer far more in return. Thoughtful storage turns it from another pantry item into a long-lasting foundation of security. Number 2, dried beans. Dried beans have a way of grounding you. They've been present through nearly every chapter of human resilience. Famines, economic downturns, and they remain just as relevant today. Modern research shows they can last over 30 years when stored properly, but their value extends beyond longevity. Beans are a rare combination of affordability, nutrition, and emotional reassurance. They offer protein, fiber, and minerals in a form that is steady, uncomplicated, and deeply nourishing. What often goes unnoticed is how vulnerable they are in thin store packaging. Plastic bags tear easily, absorb humidity, and reduce shelf life. When transferred into airtight containers, beans become something else entirely, a stable source of strength that withstands inflation, shortages, and uncertainty. There's also a psychological comfort in them. Beans create the feeling that no matter what happens, a warm, sustaining meal is still possible. They stretch budgets, stretch recipes, and stretch peace of mind. Their quiet presence in a pantry represents the kind of preparation that dose and tea depend on chance only, on consistency and care. Beans remind us that resilience is built slowly and calmly through choices that support us long before we need them. Number 3, raw honey. Raw honey carries an ancient kind of wisdom. The fact that honey found in Egyptian tombs over 3,000 years old remains perfectly edible tells us something profound about how nature protects what it creates. Honey doesn't merely resist spoilage, it actively prevents it. Its acidity, low moisture, and natural enzymes work together to create an environment where bacteria cannot survive. But there is an important distinction. Raw honey, untouched and unprocessed, keeps the qualities that make it effectively eternal. The highly filtered, heated versions sold cheaply in stores lose both flavor and longevity. Crystallization, which many people mistake for spoilage, is simply honey returning to a more natural state. Warm it slowly, and it flows again without losing any value. Honey offers more than sweetness. It brings energy during stressful times, supports immunity, and provides comfort when the world feels uncertain. Properly stored in glass, it becomes a quiet form of security, one that requires almost no maintenance yet remains ready for years. Honey teaches a subtle lesson. Lasting strength often comes from simplicity, purity, and patience. Number 4, pure maple syrup. Pure maple syrup is one of those rare foods that becomes more valuable the longer it sits quietly on a shelf. What makes it special isn't just its sweetness, but its stability. With naturally low water content and a dense concentration of minerals, pure maple syrup resists the very conditions that cause other foods to spoil. Researchers have documented bottles stored for more than a decade that pour as cleanly as the day they were sealed. That consistency is comforting, especially in a world where so much feels unpredictable. The key is purity. Artificial syrups, diluted with additives and corn syrups, simply don't hold up. Only true maple syrup labeled 100% pure or grade A retains the integrity needed for long-term storage. Once opened, refrigeration protects it from mold, but unopened, it asks for nothing. Maple syrup also offers a quiet emotional value. A spoonful can turn plain grains or emergency staples into something warm and familiar. In difficult seasons, small comforts matter more than we admit. A bottle of real maple syrup isn't just a sweetener. It's a small piece of stability that stays ready long after other foods fail. Number 5. White sugar. Sugar is one of the simplest foods in your home, yet it carries an almost indestructible nature. Its structure creates an environment where microorganisms cannot live, which is why researchers have found sugar preserved for thousands of years in ancient tombs. It doesn't spoil, sour, or decompose. It remains exactly what it is: steady, predictable, and patient. But while sugar itself doesn't expire, its texture can change if exposed to moisture. Hard clumps form easily, yet even then, the sugar remains completely safe. The solution is simple. Store it in airtight containers, and, if needed, pair it with a small amount of moisture absorber to maintain its original form. Beyond sweetness, sugar has quiet utility. It preserves fruits, supports fermentation, stabilizes energy levels during emergencies, and brings comfort at times when comfort is needed most. It is inexpensive, long-lasting, and emotionally grounding. Sugar reminds us that longevity does not always need complexity. Sometimes the most reliable things in life are those that simply remain themselves, year after year, without demanding attention. Number 6. Salt. Salt is one of humanity's oldest tools of survival, and its permanence reflects that history. Archaeological discoveries of salt stored more than 4,000 years ago show that it remains completely usable, unchanged by time. Salt doesn't break down, weaken, or shift in quality. It simply endures. And in moments of instability, having something that endures can feel deeply reassuring. Its value stretches far beyond flavor. The body depends on sodium for nerve function, hydration, muscle contraction, and overall balance. Long before refrigeration, salt preserved meat, fish, and vegetables for months, at a time allowing families to survive winters, shortages, and travel across harsh landscapes. Even today, salt remains one of the simplest and most effective preservation tools we have. While salt doesn't spoil, it does react to moisture. Clumps may form, but the salt itself is unchanged. Stored in airtight containers, it becomes a lifelong resource. With its low cost and limitless shelf life, it offers a rare combination of practicality and emotional security. Salt teaches an understated lesson. Some foundations of resilience are ancient, uncomplicated, and universally necessary. Its presence in a home creates a sense of continuity that modern conveniences can't replace. Number 7. Hard liquor. Hard liquor is one of the few pantry items that carries both practical strength and symbolic weight. Spirits like vodka, whiskey, and rum last indefinitely when unopened. Not because they resist time, but because time has nothing to act upon. At 40% alcohol or more, the environment inside the bottle becomes inhospitable to bacteria. Nothing grows, nothing decays, nothing shifts, it simply remains. Yet the true value of hard liquor extends far beyond its shelf life. Clear spirits, especially vodka con, serve as disinfectants, sterilizers, fire starters, and even emergency barter items when supplies run thin. In survival situations, versatility becomes a form of stability, and liquor has a unique ability to adapt to whatever role is needed in the moment. Stored upright in a cool, shaded place, it asks for almost no attention. Emotionally, it offers a subtle assurance. You have something on hand that can calm, clean, preserve, trade, or treat, something that carries both comfort and capability. Hard liquor reminds us that resilience often requires tools that can cross categories, items that protect both body and morale when life begins to feel unpredictable. Number 8. White vinegar. White vinegar is one of those quiet essentials people overlook until they need it. Its durability comes from a simple but powerful truth. Acetic acid does not allow harmful microorganisms to survive. That's why sealed vinegar discovered in ancient vessels more than 2,000 years old remained usable. It doesn't expire because its structure leaves no room for decay. But vinegar's real strength lies in how many roles it fills. It preserves food, cleans surfaces, neutralizes odors, supports pickling, and even extends the lifespan of fresh produce. In situations where resources become limited, having a single item that can do the work of many reduces stress and increases confidence. It doesn't demand refrigeration, sunlight protection, or special conditions. Kept in its original container, it maintains its stability effortlessly. And beyond its utility, vinegar brings a sense of control during uncertain times. It allows you to keep food longer, keep spaces cleaner, and keep routines simple. Vinegar teaches that preparedness isn't always about stockpiling merit. It's about understanding the power of a few essential things that continue working long after others fail. Number 9. Pure vanilla extract. Pure vanilla extract carries a depth that goes far beyond flavor. Made from vanilla beans and alcohol, it forms a naturally stable mixture that doesn't spoil, even after decades. In fact, the longer it sits, the more layered and complex its aroma becomes. It matures the way wisdom does, slowly, patiently, and without fanfare. But there's a crucial distinction. Only pure vanilla extract has this resilience. Artificial versions, diluted with additives, lose their character quickly. True vanilla extract, with at least 35% alcohol, keeps its integrity regardless of time. Stored in a dark bottle away from sunlight, it quietly develops richness instead of losing it. Its value is more emotional than practical. Vanilla has a way of transforming simple foods into something warm and reassuring. A few drops can lift the mood of an ordinary meal, especially during challenging seasons, when comfort becomes a form of survival. And because it lasts indefinitely, each bottle feels like a small investment in future calm. Vanilla shows that not every forever food needs to be utilitarian. Some provide nourishment not just for the body, for the spirit, reminding us that stability also comes from small moments of sweetness. Number 10. Cornstarch. Cornstarch is one of those ingredients that feels almost invisible until you understand the quiet power it carries. Its longevity comes from its simplicity, just a fine dry starch that time can't easily influence. As long as moisture stays out, cornstarch remains unchanged, year after year. Researchers have even found ancient samples, still perfectly functional, a reminder that some foods are designed by nature to last without effort. But what makes cornstarch particularly valuable is how many roles it fills. Yes, it thickens sauces and gravies, but it can also calm skin irritations, absorb moisture, and serve as an emergency substitute for items we rely on daily. During stressful periods, having one ingredient that solves several problems reduces mental load and increases confidence in your ability to adapt. Stored airtight, protected from humidity, cornstarch becomes a dependable resource that waits quietly until needed. It doesn't draw attention or take up much space, yet it supports cooking, household care, and personal comfort. Cornstarch reminds us that stability often lies in the simplest tools, those that preserve calm by offering solutions greater than their cost or appearance. Number 11. Instant coffee. Instant coffee carries a surprisingly emotional weight in a crisis. Beyond its flavor or convenience, it represents alertness, routine, and a sense of normalcy, things that matter when life feels uncertain. What makes it exceptional for long-term storage is its near-complete lack of moisture. When sealed properly, it remains stable for decades, as consistent as the day it was packaged. Its usefulness also extends beyond the morning cup. Instant coffee can enhance baking, enrich savory dishes, create rubs for meat, or even serve as a natural deterrent for certain insects. One small jar becomes a multi-purpose tool, and multi-purpose items tend to become anchors in any preparedness system. But perhaps its greatest value is psychological. In difficult seasons, a warm cup can steady the mind, restore energy, and bring a sense of familiarity. It's not just caffeine, it's comfort, structure, and a reminder that the day can still begin with intention. Instant coffee shows that preparedness isn't only about survival. It's about maintaining the rhythms that make us feel human, even when circumstances shift. Number 12. Dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is far more than a treat. It's a compact source of energy, antioxidants, and emotional grounding. And stored properly, especially varieties containing 70% cacao or more, it develops a remarkable stability. Over time, its flavor deepens rather than fades, and its structure remains resilient for years. This makes it one of the few comfort foods that truly belongs in long-term storage. Its benefits go beyond nutrition. Dark chocolate provides a steady release of energy, supports mood through natural compounds, and offers a sense of relief during stressful situations. In emergencies, small sources of emotional comfort can have a meaningful impact on morale, decision-making, and overall well-being. The key is to keep it in a cool, dark environment, away from light, heat, and unnecessary moisture. Under the right conditions, it becomes a quiet reserve of strength, both physical and emotional. Dark chocolate reminds us that preparedness doesn't have to be bleak. Including foods that soothe and uplift us is just as important as stockpiling the staples. Sometimes resilience is built not only through practicality, but through simple moments of pleasure that keep us grounded. Number 13, soy sauce. Soy sauce carries a quiet depth that comes from centuries of tradition. Properly fermented, it becomes one of the most stable liquids you can store. Scientists have examined sealed vessels of ancient soy-based sauces that remained chemically intact after thousands of years, testament to the natural protection created by salt, fermentation, and time. Nothing harmful can thrive in that environment, which is why soy sauce lasts indefinitely when kept sealed and cool. But beyond longevity, soy sauce brings something emotionally grounding. A single spoonful can transform simple foods, rice noodles, vegetables, into meals that feel warm and complete. When resources are limited, that ability to improve flavor becomes a form of emotional nourishment. Many long-term planners choose high-quality, traditionally brewed soy sauce not because it lasts longer, but because it supports the small comforts that matter in stressful seasons. Once opened, it still keeps for years without refrigeration, asking for little and offering a lot. Soy sauce reminds us that preparedness isn't just about storage. It's about creating meals that keep the spirit steady as much as the body fed. Number 14, bouillon cubes. Bouillon cubes often look modest, almost insignificant, but they contain an extraordinary amount of usefulness within a tiny space. Compressed broth, salt, fat, and seasonings allow them to hold their flavor for years with minimal care. While they may slowly lose intensity over time, they remain safe, functional, and deeply practical long after their printed dates. What makes them valuable isn't only their longevity, it's the emotional reassurance they bring. A single cube can turn plain water, rice, or beans into something warm, savory, and comforting during difficult periods. Small enhancements like that can mean the difference between feeling depleted and feeling supported. Their size makes them easy to store, trade, or carry, and their reliability makes them a smart addition to any long-term food plan. Protected from moisture, they stay ready without demanding space or attention. Bouillon cubes remind us that comfort can come from the smallest places, especially when they help transform necessity into something that feels nourishing. Number 15, dried corn. Dried corn is one of the oldest cultivated foods in human history, and it continues to prove its resilience. Archaeologists have uncovered kernels stored for over 1,000 years that were still viable, not only to be eaten, but even to sprout. That level of endurance reflects a natural design built for long storage, stability, and adaptability. Dried corn holds a unique place in preparedness because it can become so many things: cornmeal, hominy, rehydrated vegetables, or even the foundation of breads and porridges. Its versatility supports creativity when choices are limited, and that flexibility matters when routines are disrupted. But there's a quieter value too. Dried corn connects you to something timeless of food that sustained entire civilizations through hardship, migration, and change. Stored in airtight containers, protected from pests and moisture, it becomes a bridge between ancient resilience and modern preparedness. In uncertain seasons, foods like dried corn remind us that survival is not only about enduring it, it's about carrying forward the resources that have supported humanity for generations. Its presence in a pantry offers a sense of continuity that feels both grounding and reassuring. Number 16, baking soda. Baking soda is one of those rare items that feels almost humble in appearance, yet carries extraordinary range. Its longevity comes from its purity, just a simple mineral compound that time doesn't disturb. Samples found in ancient storage sites remained unchanged after hundreds of years, reminding us that not everything requires complexity to endure. But what makes baking soda truly valuable is its ability to support so many aspects of daily life. It can clean, deodorize, calm, acidity, extinguish small fires, soften water, or help food rise. When circumstances become unpredictable, having one item that quietly replaces half a shelf of household products brings both practicality and peace of mind. It does have one vulnerability: moisture. When kept dry and sealed in a container, it stays effective indefinitely. A few moments of attention and storage transform it into a permanent tool for both home and health. Baking soda reflects a simple truth. Sometimes the things that support us most are the ones that Dan T call attention to themselves. They sit quietly, waiting, reliable as ever. Number 17, whole peppercorns. Whole peppercorns carry a sense of timelessness that feels almost poetic. These tiny black spheres once traveled along ancient trade routes, treasured enough to be used as currency. And remarkably, they endure just as strongly today. Peppercorns discovered in sunken Roman ships retained their sharp aroma after 2,000 years underwater, a reminder that natural preservatives can be astonishingly powerful. Their longevity comes from their structure. Tacked peppercorns protect their essential oils, keeping flavor and potency sealed safely inside. Ground pepper fades quickly, but whole peppercorns hold their strength for decades when stored dry and sealed. Beyond flavor, pepper has subtle wellness benefits. Piperine, its primary compound, helps the body absorb nutrients more effectively. In times when food variety may narrow, that matters more than most people realize. Peppercorns show that even the smallest ingredients can carry long-term value. They elevate meals, lift morale, and offer a sense of continuity that feels grounding when life becomes uncertain. Number 18, dry pasta. Dry pasta is a quiet pillar of modern and historical food security. At first glance, it seems too ordinary to be remarkable. But its stability comes from a simple scientific principle. When pasta is dried below a specific moisture level, about 12%, it becomes nearly impervious to time. Researchers have even tested pasta sealed during World War II and found it still safe and structurally sound decades later. But pasta's real strength is emotional as much as practical. It's familiar, comforting, and endlessly adaptable. In moments of stress, a warm bowl of pasta does more than provide calories. It offers calm, routine, and a sense of normalcy. Those emotional anchors matter, especially when other parts of life feel unsteady. Stored in airtight containers or vacuum-sealed bags, pasta retains both its texture and its versatility for many years. A small stockpile can become the base for countless meals, even when resources are limited. Dry pasta reminds us that resilience isn't always found in exotic tools or complicated preparations. Sometimes it's found in the foods that have carried families through hardship for generations. Steady and ready whenever needed. Number 19, coconut oil. Coconut oil is one of those rare foods that stays remarkably stable even when conditions are less than ideal. Secret lies in its composition: medium-chain fatty acids that resist oxidation far better than most cooking oils. That stability gives coconut oil a natural resilience, allowing it to last for years without turning rancid, even in warmer climates. While other oils break down quickly, coconut oil remains steady, patient, and usable. But its real value appears in its versatility. It cooks, heals, moisturizes, protects, and even burns cleanly as an emergency lamp fuel. One jar can serve the kitchen, the first aid kit, and the survival bag without needing replacements or constant attention. In uncertain times, multi-purpose items reduce stress by quietly doing more than they promise. Stored in a cool place and kept sealed, coconut oil becomes a long-lasting anchor in both nourishment and care. Its calm consistency mirrors the kind of stability we hope to build within our homes: simple, dependable, and ready for whatever season comes next. Coconut oil reminds us that resilience often comes from resources capable of shifting roles gracefully, supporting both body and well-being with equal steadiness. Number 20, dried herbs. Dried herbs may seem delicate, yet they hold a surprising kind of strength. When stored properly, their essential compounds remain stable for years, sometimes gaining depth as they lose moisture. Oregano, thyme, rosemary. These herbs were used for centuries, not only for flavor, but for their natural antimicrobial properties. Even today, studies show that many dried herbs retain compounds that support health long after fresh leaves have wilted. Their value becomes clearer during difficult times. Food monotony can wear down morale quickly, and having access to herbs that lift flavor, aroma, and emotional comfort can make a simple meal feel whole again. A pinch of rosemary in rice or oregano in beans creates a sense of care that matters as much as nutrition itself. Stored in airtight jars, protected from light and humidity, dried herbs remain vibrant and ready. They require almost no space yet, offer a wide range of uses from cooking to natural remedies. Dried herbs remind us that even small additions can transform the ordinary into something meaningful. In preparation and in life, subtle choices often bring the greatest comfort. Number 21, green tea. Green tea carries a sense of calm the moment you open the container, and that serenity extends to its longevity. When sealed and stored well, its antioxidant compounds remain stable for years. Some studies show that freezing unopened tea can extend its potency even further, protecting both flavor and health benefits. And because green tea is naturally low in moisture, it's far more resilient than people expect. But the true value of green tea goes beyond its shelf life. A warm cup offers clarity, rhythm, and emotional grounding qualities that matter deeply when life becomes unpredictable. During stressful seasons, even small rituals can anchor the mind. Tea provides that gentle pause, a moment to breathe, to center, to reset. Storing green tea is simple. Keep it away from humidity, excess heat, and strong odors. A sealed container is enough to preserve its freshness and its subtle energy. Green tea reminds us that resilience isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet habit, the soft warmth, the familiar taste that helps us step forward with clarity. In a world full of noise, having something that restores stillness can be one of the most powerful forms of preparation. Number 22, popcorn kernels. Popcorn kernels are one of those quiet pantry items that reveal their strength only when you look closely. Their longevity comes from a protective shell that seals in moisture at just the right level, enough to allow popping, but not enough to invite spoilage. Archaeologists have found kernels more than 1,000 years old that still popped, a reminder that nature often designs resilience better than we do. Their value in preparedness is both practical and emotional. Popcorn is lightweight, calorie-dense, and remarkably stable, but it also brings a sense of normalcy. In uncertain times, sharing a bowl of popcorn is more than a snack. It's a moment of connection, a brief return to comfort and familiarity. Stored in sealed jars, kept dry and cool, kernels hold their quality for decades. A single container becomes an easy source of energy, morale, and routine, all without demanding much space. Popcorn kernels remind us that small comforts have power. They turn scarcity into something warm and communal, offering a gentle reminder that even during difficult seasons, joy can still be simple and accessible. Number 23, Ghee carries a depth and warmth that feels almost timeless. Long before refrigeration existed, people relied on ghee because its clarified form removes the elements that cause butter to spoil. What remains is pure, fat-stable, aromatic, and beautifully resilient. Modern studies confirm what ancient cultures already knew. Ghee can last for decades without refrigeration. In some traditions, aged ghee is considered even more beneficial. Its value goes beyond longevity. Ghee provides rich calories, fat-soluble vitamins, and a comforting flavor that turns simple foods into satisfying meals. In moments of uncertainty, foods that offer both energy and emotional steadiness become invaluable. Ghee also adapts effortlessly. It cooks cleanly at high temperatures, supports digestion, and can even serve as an emergency fuel when needed. Stored in airtight jars, protected from direct heat, it remains patient and ready. Ghee reminds us that resilience often comes from refinement, the practice of removing what weakens and preserving what strengthens. It is nourishment in its most stable form, a quiet source of warmth that endures. Number 24, powdered milk. Powdered milk is one of the most practical, long-term foods you can store, yet it often goes unnoticed because of its simplicity. Modern processing removes moisture so thoroughly that powdered milk becomes nearly immune to spoilage, allowing it to retain its nutritional value for decades when sealed properly. USDA studies show it keeps up to 97% of its protein and vitamins even after long storage, a rare trait among dairy products. But the deeper value lies in what powdered milk represents. It restores flexibility. It allows you to cook, bake, fortify meals, and create familiar comfort foods even when fresh ingredients aren't available. A spoonful can turn water into a source of nourishment or transform a basic recipe into something richer and more satisfying. For families with children, powdered milk can provide stability when supply chains falter. And for adults, it becomes a quiet reassurance, knowing you have a reliable, nutritious fallback that asks for almost no maintenance. Stored in airtight packaging, kept cool and dry, it becomes one of the most dependable staples in any emergency pantry. Powdered milk reminds us that preparedness is often about expanding options when life narrows them, offering nourishment that lasts long after circumstances shift. Number 25, hard candy. Hard candy may seem simple, but its durability carries surprising emotional and practical weight. Because it contains almost no moisture, bacteria and mold have nothing to grow on, allowing it to last for decades without changing in safety or structure. Researchers have tested candies stored since World War II and found them still edible, a reminder that not all forms of comfort fade with time. But the value of hard candy goes beyond chemistry. In stressful moments, a small piece of sweetness can steady nerves, ease nausea, or offer a quick burst of energy. Emergency responders have long included peppermint and butterscotch in their kits for exactly this reason. These flavors calm the stomach, support alertness, and bring a brief moment of grounding when the body feels unsettled. Stored in airtight jars, kept dry, hard candy becomes a long-lasting reserve of both practicality and morale. It doesn't compete with essential foods for space, yet it contributes something deeply human, a moment of sweetness when the day feels heavy. Hard candy reminds us that survival is not just about sustenance, also about small comforts that help us keep moving forward. Number 26, dried seaweed. Dried seaweed is one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can store. And its longevity is remarkable. Because seaweed dries to an extremely low moisture level, its minerals, vitamins, and natural salts stay stable for years. Some varieties found in ancient coastal storage jars remained intact after centuries, quietly preserving the nourishment gathered from the ocean. Its strength lies not just in durability, but in nutrient concentration. Dried seaweed contains iodine, magnesium, protein, and trace elements that are often missing during food shortages. A single sheet can elevate a simple meal both nutritionally and emotionally, adding depth of flavor and a sense of completeness. Seaweed is also lightweight, compact, and easy to store. When sealed from humidity, it remains crisp and full of essential minerals long after other foods have expired. Its versatilities, snacks, broths, seasonings, makes it a quiet powerhouse in any preparedness plan. Dried seaweed reminds us that resilience can be gentle and nourishing. It shows that even the thinnest, most delicate foods can offer tremendous strength when preserved with care. Number 27, chia seeds. Chia seeds hold a rare balance of nutrition, longevity, and emotional reassurance. Their natural oils are protected by a dense outer shell, allowing them to stay stable for years when stored properly. Studies show that vacuum-sealed chia seeds can maintain their omega-3 content far longer than most supplements, offering steady nourishment with almost no risk of spoilage. But their value becomes even clearer when life feels uncertain. Chia seeds expand when hydrated, creating filling meals from small amounts. They supply protein, fiber, and essential fatty acids nutrients that keep the body balanced when diets simplify. In emergencies, a spoonful of chia, added to oats, water, or yogurt, can turn a modest meal into something sustaining and whole. There's also something calming about chia's simplicity. It requires no cooking, no specialized storage, no complex preparation, just a container, a scoop, and a little water. That ease becomes a quiet form of stability in challenging times. Chia seeds remind us that resilience can come from small things, nutrient-dense, unassuming, yet capable of supporting both body and peace of mind when life becomes unpredictable. Number 28, oats. Oats carry a quiet reliability that makes them one of the most comforting long-term foods you can store. When kept dry and sealed, their natural oils remain stable for decades, so stable that 30-year-old oat reserves tested by food researchers showed almost no loss in nutritional value. That kind of longevity is rare, but it's the emotional steadiness of oats that stands out even more. They're familiar, grounding, and warm, providing a sense of routine, even when life feels uncertain. Oats also offer a remarkable nutritional balance. Fiber, protein, slow-burning carbohydrates, and unique compounds like avenanthramides all work together to support energy and calm inflammation. In stressful periods, these qualities matter. They help the body stay steady, helping you think clearly and move with intention. Proper storage is simple: airtight containers, cool temperatures, and a barrier against moisture. Steel-cut or rolled oats last the longest, maintaining texture and flavor without demanding much space. Oats remind us that survival isn't just about endurance, it is about nourishment that strengthens the body while soothing the mind. They turn even the hardest days into something manageable, reminding us that stability often begins with simple, consistent choices. Number 29. Molasses. Molasses is one of those ingredients that carries more history than its dark color suggests. Once a staple during the Great Depression, families relied on it when fresh foods were scarce, using its rich mineral content to prevent fatigue and deficiency. Modern studies confirm what earlier generations knew instinctively. Molasses is packed with iron, potassium, magnesium, and vitamin B6 nutrients that remain stable long after the bottle has been opened. Its longevity comes from its density and natural sugars, which inhibit bacterial growth and allow it to sit quietly on a shelf for years. But its deeper value emerges in how it transforms food. A spoonful stirred into oats, bread dough, or hot water can turn basic ingredients into something warm and nourishing, especially when emotional comfort is in short supply. Stored in a sealed glass bottle and kept away from direct heat, molasses maintains both flavor and nutrition with ease. It becomes a reminder that even during hardship, richness is possible not through abundance, but through thoughtful choices. Molasses shows that sweetness doesn't have to be fleeting. It can be steady, meaningful, and deeply sustaining. Number 30. Apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is one of the most enduring foods you can store. And its strength lies in its natural acidity. That acidity preserves the liquid indefinitely, allowing it to sit on a shelf for years without losing effectiveness. But the real magic comes from the mother, the cloudy web of beneficial enzymes and probiotics that continue to develop over time, turning a CV into something living, stable, and nourishing. In times of uncertainty, a CV offers versatility, supports digestion, balances blood sugar, and acts as a gentle immune ally when paired with honey or warm water. Even a small bottle offers dozens of uses, preserving vegetables, cleaning surfaces, easing sore throats, and enhancing simple meals. When access to fresh produce becomes limited, these subtle boosts matter more than ever. Stored in a dark glass bottle, protected from heat and sunlight, apple cider vinegar remains patient-ready whenever needed, without demanding rotation or oversight. A CV reminds us that resilience often comes from transformation. Fruits ferment, enzymes grow, and something stronger emerges. It teaches that even in difficult seasons, change can create tools that sustain us, and that simplicity, when cared for, can last longer than we imagine. When you look at these foods together, a pattern appears. Resilience isn't loud. It's built quietly through small choices made before life becomes difficult. A single jar of grains, a bottle of oil, a handful of herbs, each one adds a layer of stability that can steady you when the world feels uncertain. Preparedness isn't fear, it's care. It's the decision to protect your future with the steps you take today. Start with what you can, store what you value, and let your home become a place of security, not worry.